Something is about to change in Virgin River, and no one is ready for it. The quiet town everyone believed was safe, calm, and healing is no longer the same place it used to be. Beneath the peaceful surface, something heavy is building again. Old memories are not staying buried, and the past is slowly finding its way back into every life, every heart, and every secret in town. In Season 8, nothing feels truly settled anymore. Life in Virgin River is starting to feel uncertain, like the ground itself is shifting under every step. The story begins in a place that looks peaceful on the outside, but inside, there is tension that cannot be ignored anymore. People are trying to move forward, trying to believe that everything painful is behind them. But deep down, they all know that Virgin River never really lets go of the past so easily. Mel is trying to hold on to the life she has built, the love she has found, and the fragile peace she has finally earned. But even peace starts to feel fragile when small signs of trouble begin to appear again. It is not loud at first, it is quiet. A feeling, a hesitation, a silence that lasts too long. Jack is standing by her side, but even he can feel it. Something is not right. The town that once felt like a safe place for a fresh start now feels like it is holding its breath, waiting for something to break. And when people in Virgin River start to feel uneasy, it usually means they are right. Old connections begin to shift again. Conversations that once felt normal now carry hidden meaning. Even simple moments between people feel heavier, like everyone is thinking about something they are not saying out loud. There is a growing sense that the past is not finished with them yet. At the same time, new changes begin to take shape in town. Decisions are being made that will affect everyone, even if they don't fully understand it yet. Some people believe they are making the right choices for the future, but not everyone agrees. And disagreement in a place like Virgin River never stays small for long. The emotional pressure starts to build quietly but steadily. Relationships that looked strong begin to show small cracks. Trust becomes harder to hold on to. Even love starts to feel tested in ways it hasn't been before. And in the middle of all this, one question keeps rising in the background without anyone directly saying it out loud. How long can peace really last here? Because Virgin River has a pattern. Just when things start to feel stable, something always shifts. Something always returns. Something always changes everything. And this time, it feels different. It feels heavier. It feels like whatever is coming next is not just another chapter in their lives, but a turning point they may not be able to come back from. The calm before the storm is already gone. And Season 8 is only just beginning. Life in Virgin River tries to move forward as if nothing has changed, but the truth is very different. After everything that has happened in the past, people are telling themselves that this is a new beginning, a fresh start, a chance to finally breathe again. But deep inside, there is a quiet feeling that things are not as stable as they look on the surface. Mel and Jack are trying to build a normal life together, holding on to the idea that love and family can stay strong even in a place like this. For a short moment, it almost feels real. They share small, peaceful moments, simple talks, and plans for the future that feel safe. But even in those moments, there is a sense of caution, like they are both careful not to speak too loudly about happiness, as if it could break easily. Jack is doing his best to stay steady, to be the support Mel needs, but he can feel the pressure building again. It is not one big problem. It is many small things that slowly start to add up. A change in tone during conversations, a pause that lasts a little too long, a feeling that something is being held back. And in Virgin River, those small signs usually mean something bigger is coming. Mel also senses it, even if she tries not to focus on it. She wants peace. She wants stability. But her past has taught her that calm moments can disappear without warning. So even when things look fine, her mind stays alert. She notices changes in people, in moods, in the way conversations feel slightly different than before. Around them, the town itself feels like it is adjusting to something new, but not comfortably. People are trying to return to their routines, but there is hesitation in how they do it. Shops open like normal, friends meet and talk, and life continues on the outside. Yet under that normal surface, there is a quiet uncertainty that nobody is openly addressing. Some people believe the hardest times are behind them, but others are not so sure. There is a sense that decisions made in the past are still echoing into the present. Things that were left unresolved are not staying hidden anymore. They are slowly finding their way back into conversations, relationships, and choices that need to be made again. Even friendships feel slightly different now. People who were once close are more careful with their words. Trust is still there, but it is more fragile than before. It does not take much to make someone pause or rethink what they thought they knew about others. In the middle of all this, Mel and Jack try to stay grounded in each other. But even their connection is being tested in small ways. Not through conflict, but through pressure. The kind of pressure that builds quietly when life refuses to stay simple. They are learning that love is not only about holding on during big storms, but also about surviving the quiet tension that comes before them. And that tension is growing again in Virgin River. There is also a sense that the town is standing at a point where things could go in two very different directions. Either everything settles into peace, or something shifts that changes the balance completely. No one is saying it out loud, but everyone can feel it. This new beginning is not fully calm. It is not fully safe. It is more like a pause before something important happens. A moment where everyone is trying to believe in stability while quietly preparing for change. And as each day passes, that feeling becomes harder to ignore. Emotional pressure in Virgin River starts to rise in ways that are not loud or dramatic at first, but slow and steady, like water filling a glass, drop by drop until it becomes impossible to ignore. People are still talking, still meeting, still trying to act normal, but their emotions are carrying more weight than before. Every conversation feels slightly different, as if there is something hidden behind the words that no one is fully ready to say out loud. Mel notices it in small details. A change in tone when someone speaks to her. A hesitation before answering simple questions. Even the way people avoid certain topics tells her more than what they actually say. She has always been observant, but now that skill feels heavier, like she is constantly reading between lines that keep changing shape. Jack also feels the shift, especially in how relationships around him are starting to tighten and strain at the same time. He sees people trying to hold on to normal life, but the effort behind it is visible. Nothing feels effortless anymore. Even simple friendships seem to carry unspoken concerns that nobody wants to fully explore. In the middle of this, personal relationships begin to feel the strain more clearly. Couples who once seemed stable start dealing with small misunderstandings that grow faster than expected. It is not about one big argument or one major mistake. It is about small emotional gaps that slowly widen when left unspoken. A missed moment here, a wrong assumption there, and suddenly the connection that felt strong starts to feel uncertain. Trust also becomes more delicate. People who have known each other for years begin to question intentions, not openly, but quietly in their minds. A sentence is repeated later with a different meaning. A memory is recalled differently by two people. These small differences create distance, even when no one is trying to move apart. Friendships are not immune either. In Virgin River, friendships are often like family, built on shared history and emotional support. But now even those bonds start to show stress. Someone feels left out of a decision, someone else feels misunderstood. These feelings are not always expressed directly, but they build up inside until silence becomes heavier than words. Mel finds herself in the middle of this emotional tension more than once. People come to her for comfort, advice, or understanding, but she is also dealing with her own uncertainty. It becomes harder to separate her own emotions from the emotions of others around her. She listens, she supports, but inside she is also trying to make sense of everything that feels slightly off. Jack tries to stay steady, but even his patience is tested by the emotional weight around him. He wants to fix things, to bring stability where there is confusion, but not everything can be solved with action. Some problems are rooted in feelings that people are not ready to admit, even to themselves. What makes everything more complicated is that nobody can point to a single cause. There is no clear moment where things started to change. Instead, it feels like a slow buildup of unspoken worries, past experiences, and unresolved emotions that have all returned at the same time. Even small interactions now carry emotional impact. A short reply can feel cold. A delayed response can feel like distance. A simple misunderstanding can turn into overthinking. And overthinking in a place like this spreads quickly from one person to another. The town itself becomes almost like an emotional mirror, reflecting what people are feeling inside. When one person struggles, it seems to affect others in subtle ways. There is a shared sensitivity in the air, as if everyone is connected through emotions they are not fully aware of. At the center of all this, the biggest challenge is not the external situation, but the internal struggle each person is facing. They are trying to hold on to relationships, trust, and stability, while also dealing with fears they have not fully spoken about. And when emotions stay unspoken for too long, they start shaping decisions in ways that are harder to control. Nothing is exploding. Nothing is breaking all at once. But everything is tightening slowly, like a knot being pulled without anyone realizing how tight it has already become. A new layer of uncertainty begins to grow in Virgin River, and this time, it does not come from everyday misunderstandings or emotional distance alone. It comes from something deeper, something that feels connected to the past in a way people thought was already resolved. But in a place like this, the past rarely stays in the past for long. There are signs that something hidden is starting to resurface. It is not fully clear yet, but the feeling is strong enough that people begin to notice changes in how situations unfold. Conversations become more careful. Certain names are avoided. Certain topics are left unfinished. It is as if everyone is aware that one wrong step could open a door they are not ready to walk through again. Mel starts to sense that the balance she has been trying to protect is not as secure as she hoped. There are moments where things feel normal, but then something small happens that shifts the entire mood. A look that lasts too long, a silence that feels heavier than usual, a detail that does not fit with what she thought she knew. These small pieces begin to form a pattern she cannot ignore. Jack also begins to notice that the town is reacting differently to certain situations. People are not as open as before. Even those who usually speak freely seem to be holding back. It is not fear exactly, but caution, as if everyone is waiting for something to be revealed, something that might change how they see everything around them. In the middle of this growing tension, there are hints that someone or something from the past may be involved again. It is not confirmed and no one says it directly, but the possibility alone is enough to shift the emotional atmosphere in town. Old connections that were thought to be closed begin to feel relevant again. Memories that were buried start to feel closer to the surface. This creates a ripple effect. People begin to question what they thought they understood. Past events are looked at differently. Conversations from earlier times are reinterpreted with new meaning. Even decisions that once felt final start to feel uncertain again. It becomes harder for anyone to fully trust that what they know is complete. Mel feels this shift more personally when small inconsistencies appear in things she thought were settled. It is not about one single event, but a series of subtle changes that make her pause. She begins to wonder if there are parts of the story she never fully saw, or if something important was always there, but never fully revealed. Jack, on the other hand, tries to focus on keeping things stable, but even he cannot ignore the growing sense that something is approaching. His instinct tells him that ignoring it will not make it go away. In Virgin River, problems rarely disappear on their own. They tend to grow in silence until they demand attention. As this unknown presence from the past starts to influence the present, people in town begin to react in different ways. Some try to stay calm and ignore it. Others become more protective of their personal lives. A few start asking questions, even if they are not sure they want the answers. This difference in reactions creates another layer of tension. Instead of facing one clear issue together, everyone is dealing with it in their own way. And when people process uncertainty differently, it can create distance even among those who care about each other. There is also a growing sense that certain truths may not be able to stay hidden much longer. Things that were once avoided are now circling back into focus. It is not a sudden reveal, but a slow uncovering, piece by piece, as if the truth is finding its way out no matter how carefully it was kept in the dark. At this stage, nothing has fully erupted, but the foundation of stability feels weaker than before. The town is standing in a space where past and present are starting to overlap again, and that overlap brings both clarity and disruption at the same time. And as these hidden connections continue to surface, it becomes harder for anyone in Virgin River to believe that things can simply return to how they used to be.